why over the 3 years we've had some vendors that are consistently. In fact, most times we first of all reach out to the people that have been our vendors before we open it up to others.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, I got to know about Obaji this year, and indeed, if social media was not there, I wouldn't have known. Yeah. And yes, I know Born to Excel was there. Yes, because I kind of work closely with them, and I see that indeed having SMSE, small businesses, micro businesses come together in a space is actually beautiful because of the kind of network you mentioned. Yeah. And I'd like to know how Obaji Festival has, improved or grown the ecosystem of businesses in Onitsha so far. Okay. How do you measure that? What do you think?
Okay, thank you so much. Most of the time when we talk about businesses, we still see it in the traditional way. We still look at the person selling wigs, the person selling maybe drinks as the business owner. There is a particular part of business that is taking over that most of the time we overlook it, and that's the creative industry. In planning Obaji, most of the time we bring in young people that are interested maybe in monetizing their channels on social media or in promoting whatever they are doing. These are business owners. We've not captured them actually, but let me go back to the traditional kind of businesses. When they come to Obaji, for instance, and some of them, to be frank, may not make huge sales, but they will find people to give their numbers, people to talk to, people to reach out to, because now you are bringing in the crowd, they are bringing in their product. You will do the best you can to tell people about these particular people, and then you expect them on ground to push their own business. So you find out that most of them make more sales after the festival because of the contacts they've made there. Some people will be like, all we want is just to get our product out there, let people see it. And at the end of the day, once their product is out there, they've achieved their goals. So looking at it, what we have done in Onitsha ecosystem, not even only Onitsha, one of our most consistent vendors is coming from Aguata, Oko. So what we've done to that business is not just about us knowing them, understanding them. Is about even in between, after the festival, when they have something they want to push out there, they've networked with you. We doing the festival most of the time, we have this opportunity, or let's say the advantage of having more visibility than the regular people out there. And since you know this person personally, if he wants to do something, maybe a launch, or maybe he wants to talk about a particular product, it may not be something you will consistently do for 1 month, 2 months. But if he just wants something for you to push something for how you push it, you understand? And sometimes the person will discuss with you what actually he wants in a business. And Obaji model is that it's not just about getting volunteers to work on that project. We have a community. We have a real human community, as in people coming together, meeting often. So once we have such an offer, we spread it through our community. And when we did the Obaji 1.0, we took it upon ourselves to visit the vendors one by one. We did not visit all of them. We had a lot of vendors, but we visited some, made a documentary of them, and pushed it out there on the space. It's still there on YouTube. People can always stumble on it and something like that, So that's the contribution.
So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I mean, it's really worth celebrating. It's really worth celebrating. I can imagine Obaji is in 3.0. Pivot will be in 3.0. I hope you're going to be there on the 18th of October. I mean, so far, I see that we're already sparking up, This is just like, I'll say, what they call it, how they say that stuff, a tip of an iceberg of what we are going to be experiencing on the 18th. Thank you so much for sharing, sir. And I see that your platform basically centers on bringing these people out to the space. Yeah, like improving their visibility where they can easily be seen. And I think that is core when it comes to digital or the digital future we are reimagining for the Southeast. Having small micro business owners come up to a space where they can be seen and that their products can be bought or patronized, or they can be patronized. And so I would like to ask a last question. So far, how can you say that, or how can you say, how can you say the digital tools and you did. Okay. So yeah, how would you say the digital tools available to us would contribute to small business owners growing? Like how can these tools really contribute to their growth generally?
Okay, thank you so much. I will answer this with a question, with not a question, with a story. One of the people that Born to Excel, who was one of our major sponsors, when I had a list of people to reach out to for sponsorship in Obaji, he was the least person. In fact, I wouldn't have ever thought about him. I knew him before then, but we just acquaintances. It's not someone you will just move up to and say, I'm doing this, you know. And he called me. In fact, he sent a message on Facebook and I didn't see the message. He called. He got my number. He called and he said I should come to his office. And when I went to his office, he said that you've done this the first time, second time, and third time. And that's consistency. And I will want to be a part of what you are doing. Why I tell this story is to tell us the strength of social media. Once people see what you are doing, the consistency, things you are doing, it is easier for people to have a kind of a narrative about it. They can just say, okay, this particular person is doing something right. We can be a part of it, And most times when businesses in Southeast, we've not understood the digital space. I always tell the story of what happened in the Obaji 2.0. I went to the market and I was meeting business people, telling them that we are doing this and this is how you can benefit. We'll give you visibility. And to my surprise, most of them will just tell you that my business doesn't need this.
Oh, wow.
That I am an importer. So if I sell to the retailers can do this particular thing you're talking about. And something happened. Most of them, when they tell you something like this, they'll say, okay, but drop your account number and I will support you with whatever I have. And I said that one. I said, I asked myself, these people, what they were dropping, they could have negotiated with that. Yeah. It's a gap. It's a gap. These particular people, if they knew that with 100,000, they may say, why not run a little ad for us or tell people that we did this, or just place us on the general banner. I think we need to understand. We need to bridge that particular gap, because once we bridge it and they understand that being there, in fact, when you are looking at something like live Nigerian breweries, if you're going outside on Onitsha, you just see it there. Some people may not even notice it, but it's there. You understand? Branding, working on brand awareness. Just once people are seeing something you are doing, you don't know when that thing is a part of the person, the subconscious of the person. When the person sees that thing outside anywhere, without even understanding where he saw this thing, he believes that this
is credible.
He could link it with somewhere he have seen it before. So I believe we have to bridge that gap for us to really benefit what social media have. And looking at the system we have, most times they will say, yeah, we are in the commerce and whatever. It is shifting. If we don't understand the digital space, very soon we won't be anywhere. It is something we all should work together for.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah,
all right, you would like to say something? Yeah.
All right, so
Let's celebrate him.
Yeah, when it comes to showing up online, sometimes, so he has done this event for 3 years, right? And he just talked about how being consistent, showing up can change the whole thing. And I would like to, how life can be like a compound effect or actions compound, right? So yesterday I was having a chat with my friend because I manage events, corporate event, project, and everything. So I am not sure he likes my post as such on social media. Do you get? So when we got talking, he mentioned that I saw that you are now managing the Pivot Conference,
Yeah.
right? You are telling your stories and everything. I was asking myself, but I'm not sure I've seen you drop anything or something like that. In fact, one of it got me shocked. A man was looking for someone to manage his conference, yeah, in Abuja.
Yeah.
So he put out a post on social media asking people to recommend to him all of those. I began to see tags like mention you here. I went to check. People are saying that this guy has done this for SM First Talker, done this for Sales Hack Conference, and now doing this for the Pivot Conference,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and it's people that I didn't know that they even follow my works on social media. So you could think that showing up or what you do is not, people are not seeing it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, they are seeing every single thing. You just have to find the way to get consistent. I
Yeah.
was talking with a friend at the time. He was like, one of the reasons he stopped posting on social media is sometimes he posts, he keeps going back to check to scroll to see likes.
And you see two
I
likes.
know how that can be. If you are new in the online space,
Yes.
it can frustrate
Yeah,
you.
it's daunting. I
Right.
can imagine.
But then because you've been there for a while now,
And because we
Right.
understand the purpose why we are there.
yes.
Yeah.
So the likes, we call them vanity metrics, right? I've gotten some gigs from people that didn't even like. They saw what you put out and they slide in the DM. And
Directly.
funnily enough, it seems to be people that we give you the most money don't even like your stuff,
Yeah.
right? When they see your work inspiring, they just go on social media, slide to your DM and get talking. So I'm saying this to say, you don't really have to, in quotes, get depressed because your consistency is not paying off now. With time, a drop of water, when it keeps dropping, I like to say it in a way that, if you've been sick before and they gave you drip to take, right? You know how that drop,
Yes.
drop.
Yes.
Sometimes you're like, can this thing just finish? Let me leave here. But then every drop of that drip is creating an impact in the sickness you're having, that by the time it is done going, it makes a world of difference. Yeah? So that is just to make that impute. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Let's celebrate him. Thank you so much. There's something both of you kept on emphasizing on, and it's consistency. It's showing up and it's consistency. Last year when I attended the Pivot Conference 2.0, I think that is one thing that really transformed me as a business owner. I'm a business owner too. So that's one thing that really transformed my business, and it was showing up. I think it was one of the speakers said, he spoke about credibility. He said, no one will know how credible you are until they can see it, right? Until they can see it. They don't know how credible I am. They don't know how credible you are until they can see it. And it's from a track record of how consistent you are online. And I'm just encouraging us, micro, small business owners to keep up being consistent and to show up consistently. Thank you so much, sir, for these questions. Thank you. Let's celebrate this session. I'm sure we're having a good time. I'm certain we're having a good time. Yes, I can just imagine what it's going to be like on the Pivot Conference. I wouldn't stop saying that. Thank you. So I'm going to be moving on to Barrister Chisom Okeke, the commercial lawyer and business owner, Burger Chicken and Co. Okay, and Co is so important. Sorry. It's so important. Okay. So I'm going to be asking a couple of questions. What legal mistakes do growing businesses make when they're starting out?
Okay. Thank you once
You're
again
welcome.
for the time and space
Welcome,
to have
sir.
this conversation. I would start by laying a disclaimer. Typically, the legal aspects of everything about life, same as accounting, is usually technical. And many people don't like to talk about these things until it becomes really, really necessary. So I would do my best to break it down into practicable steps,
Yeah.
practical steps
Would
rather,
really appreciate
and
that.
simple terms. Yeah. So the question was asked as to legal mistakes most
Yeah.
MSMEs make, and I would begin by saying that from the legal point of view, an MSME only becomes an MSME after it adopts the status of incorporation or registration, as the case may be. Um, the difference between the medium, micro,
Yeah.
small, and
And
medium
medium
enterprises
size, yeah.
are technical. So, if we are to define what a micro enterprise is, and define what a small enterprise is, and define what a medium enterprise is, the difference might be in the number of staff strength, for instance. The difference might be captured in the level of returns, proceeds that the business generates, and the rest of it. So, these are all technical differences. The same thing goes to the legal aspects of it. A business that is not, in fact, for crying out loud, every business, strictly so called, becomes a business when it is registered as a business name,
Okay.
or it is incorporated as a limited liability company,
Okay.
or, okay, well, those are the two major forms of businesses. So I feel the first legal mistake businesses make, either MSM, medium or micro or medium, whatever category of businesses they are, would be by operating as a business without adopting the legal coverage and adopting the legal structure that they most likely need. For me, that's the very first mistake that can be made. Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir. Because like you mentioned the two kinds of registrations that go on when businesses are starting out, the limited liability and the sole proprietorship. So, sir, could you give us why would I go for a sole proprietorship? What are the differences between these two kinds of registration, and which one would you advise for which kind of business? Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, moving down to the southeast, I'm Igbo, I'm from Anambra State. I grew up in the south, however.
Okay.
Now, growing up there, we got accustomed to very old companies. You would see a company that has been in existence for 60 years, 70 years, most likely because Port Harcourt, that was where it was happening. Port Harcourt has been in existence for a very, very long time. I don't think the entirety of Anambra State is as old as maybe Port Harcourt as a concept. Nobody should attack me yet. As a as a place, So the point is, those are big businesses. Those are actually companies, and they completely understand the importance of legal structuring, legal incorporation, and the rest of it. And they've been enjoying these benefits for years. The Southeast is a very, very maturing. Currently, it is very maturing, and all that. But when you compare it to some other locations, some other geopolitical zones, we still have a very young market. Our economy is still very young, especially when it comes to the formation of businesses. And then coming down home, bringing it down to the grassroots, the bulk of what goes on in our part of the world is entrepreneurship. By that I mean starting from scratch on an individual level, as opposed to people coming together to create things. Okay, until recently, when we started having the tech influx and the rest of it, people started coming together. But the point is, what plays out the most when businesses are created in the Southeast are single founders that start from scratch. So typically, the category of business the business structure that should be adopted at that stage of the business ideally should be a sole proprietorship.
Okay.
However, if you have plans of scaling your business to own multiple locations, to grow into an enterprise that is reputable, an enterprise that would have a large economic power and an economic following, it would be advisable to perhaps begin from the scratch to register as a limited liability company. There are subcategories under these two broad headings. There are partnerships, limited partnerships. There are a couple of other ones, but it's technical and I don't want to go into it now. But categories of businesses that should be registered, preferably as business names, in my opinion, should be sole proprietorships. Businesses that are built around services rendered by professionals as individuals. So if somebody here is an excellent bid maker and wants to go into business alone, it would make sense for you to register your business as a sole proprietorship. Under the CAMA, sole proprietorship, CAMA is the law that regulates business transactions. Sole proprietorships are registered as business names.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would make sense that you register your business as a business name. Now, if multiple people are coming together, pulling resources, maybe multiple professionals, if you would have somebody who is coming in from the marketing aspect or marketing sector, someone is coming in from the legal, someone is bringing in skill sets from this angle, and the volume of work you intend on carrying on in the business is extensive, and the financial, I would say, the capital requirements of launching that business is expensive or extensive, then it would make more sense to register as a limited liability company.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically those are the
Thank
things.
you so much. Thank you very much, sir, for answering. So how has been the transition between being a professional, a lawyer, a barrister, and now a business owner? What was the transition like? And when did it all start?
Yeah, the transition has not been smooth, man.
Wow. Tell us about it, sir.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. I was called to the bar as a lawyer in 2017, very long time ago. I feel old, man. Sorry.
Pretty much.
So I was very young then. I'm gonna know who it is now. So then I went into professional experience. As a lawyer, typically you undergo pupillage. It's very, very similar to the Igbo boy system that plays out in the Southeast. So you understudy because you are licensed to practice, but you need the experience. So typically, if you are aware of the sphere or the category or the field of practice you are interested in, it would make sense to go and understudy from, the offices of someone or a firm already in that area of work.
Yeah.
So I did my pupillage when I was 7 in Abeokuta in Ogun State. I, from the onset, knew I wanted to go into business law. So I worked as in-house counsel, as head of legal for a hotel management company in Abeokuta. We did very well there. I cut my teeth in the legal world. The volume of transactions that we conducted and oversaw were extensive and all that. Then afterwards, I came down to Anambra State and I understudied. I had ample experience working in a litigation law firm here in Oka. All this while, though, I have always had the entrepreneurial mindset.
Okay.
So maybe by way of inheritance, even though my parents directly are not business people. Okay, so one of them is, but she doesn't want to call herself a businesswoman. I hope she does not say this anyway. So my mom owns a couple of businesses, but they are in the, I would say, okay, let's say schools. She owns a couple of schools. So, but my siblings, their siblings rather, are all business people, traders, importers, and the rest of it. So it had always been in me. I had always wanted to create something unique that would capture a fusion of the legal and formal background that I have and the entrepreneurial mindset that I've always had. So sometime in 2020, on the 3rd of October to be precise, we created the very first outlets of Burger Chicken & Co. It was located at Aroma along Secretariat Road. So coincidentally, by the 3rd of October, in 2 days' time, will be 5 years in existence.
Amazing.
Yeah, I just learned something now. Many people might not know about us because one of the challenges, as a professional, as a lawyer, you are taught to not sing your own praises.
Exactly what I was going to ask. Has it been able to help you being a lawyer?
It's not been easy.
Or hurt your business?
Because as a businessman, you have to sing your praises. You have to shout your praises.
You
don't
have to
even
come
sing it. You collect mics from people that are talking and sing your praises while they are talking. Yeah. So the transition has not been smooth. It has not been very easy. But it's been doable. It's been practical. Partly thanks to conferences like this, sessions like this. I remember Genevieve because we had Pivot 2.0 last year, 3.0 last year together. And so you listen to people who are a lot more experienced than you in the sectors, giving advice. Most likely people in your own shoes, So maybe in 10 years' time when, by God's grace, we'll be doing very well as a business, and then we have platforms like this where we speak to people.
Yeah.
I could now tell stories to young lawyers to say, as much as you should keep to your training and the instructions you picked up from law school to be solemn and to be civil and to be all that, if you would want to do well in business in Nigeria, in the moment, you have to be very, very vocal, maybe not radical, but vocal in singing your songs, telling the world about what you do, keeping a track record particularly online, for everyone to see. Because like Michael pointed out,
Yeah.
anyone could see it from anywhere. And like Obaji also manifested during his conversation, anybody literally could tap into your this thing. But on my own, as a person, it's not been very, very smooth. But it's a learning curve, and we get better every day.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for the journey.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. One last question. How and when do you think small businesses need a lawyer? Yes, at what point in their business do you think they need a lawyer? Or do you think they can handle themselves?
Okay, experience has shown that literally every aspect of business, every sphere of business, every phase of business, in any sector of the economy, involves a coming together of more than one person. So the only person who would say he does not have interactions with other people on a regular basis is somebody who is not in business. Anybody who is in business has to understand human management. You have to know some of those things that go around with it, because you literally have to work with people and work for people, either building your own team and servicing your customer base, or working with suppliers and the rest of it. Now, the Bible says where two or three are gathered in his name, that he's there. I mean,
Yes, he's there. He's in their midst.
I like to ask, I asked to be sure because Prince Nature is beside me. You will know why when he handles the mic. So, it is the same thing in law, where there are multiple persons from different backgrounds, with different perspectives, coming together for a particular reason. There would always be a clash, whether we want it or not.
Yeah.
Now, one major way of ensuring everyone is on track is by discussing amongst ourselves, pointing out the various things that need to be pointed out, and capturing it in documentation, in documentary forms.
Very
And
important.
typically, yes, that's in my opinion where lawyers come in.
Okay.
So in my opinion, the answer to the question would be, from the get-go, as soon as you know what you want to do as a business person, as soon as you've started taking actions, taking implementative actions, and as soon as you start mingling with people, discussing with people, you need a lawyer. Not necessarily to come and start saying I have a lawyer, or for a lawyer to come and start putting anything down, but to give advice. Because sincerely, there are so many things that go into, in Igbo, we say okubanego, the whole thing, they change. So the earlier, the better. That's my advice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate him. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. We're going to be going to the next speaker today, and it's no other person than Prince Neche, a digital creator, a comedian. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
Thank you.
I'm going to be asking a few questions around entertainment, because I know that is like where you're majorly focused on. So how does entertainment and media contribute to businesses and community development? How does entertainment and the media contribute to businesses and community development?
Okay. Once again, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I'm going to apologize beforehand because of my voice. I'm a little under the weather. Kataho me, you understand? So please,
Sorry, sir.
as I talk, Mona, anyhow. Okay, so discussing how entertainment and media contributes to business and community development.
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, there is visibility and awareness. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Small, not small businesses, any business at all that keys into entertainment and media is bound to get a level of visibility and a level of awareness.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So entertainment go organize show, media go broadcast them, then the business will now get the cheap exposure. Is cheap, because I feel like the exposure that you get from entertainment and media is the cheapest that it can get, because if you actually go towards advertisement and all of that, proper visibility for a brand, it's going to cost a lot. But with entertainment and media, you can get them quite cheap. And another thing is job creation for a community. When you have any form of entertainment event, you understand that there are people who get paid from those events, those kind of, entertainment events. You talk about, okay, using myself as an example, for every time that I want to host my yearly comedy show, I must, as a matter of fact, book security outfits.
Yeah.
I must book ushers. I must book, a lot of small business owners. And you find out, and then because I have a lot of people around me, I try as much as possible to, get to touch or allow my brand to rub off on small businesses around me. What I mean by that is, despite having access of resources to, always use known names and known brands, I always prefer to, key into the upcoming brands to always, to help them to grow.
Yeah.
Then, community and pride identity is a thing. How many of you know Calabar Festival? How many of you know Bole Festival? How many of you know the Obaji Festival? Now, do you know that there are certain, brands, entertainment brands that have become so big that they pull people from other states?
True.
Calabar Carnival is a thing.
Yeah.
2 times in my life, I've traveled from Anambra to Calabar to spend days. In that days, you are paying for hotel, you are eating the food. As a matter of fact, money where you make for Anambra, you go spend down for Calabar. Now that money enters the ecosystem of and goes round.
Yeah.
And what brought that level of exposure? Entertainment. Because as much as you can look at it, Calabar Carnival is as entertainment oriented as it can be. So these are all of the ways that entertainment and media contributes to developing an environment. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is so amazing, because I was just looking, when you were mentioning, when you talked about the Calabar Carnival, I just imagine in my head what Obaji will be like maybe next year or 2 years, where we would have many people from the south is coming all the way, traveling to come and, to the shrine.
Yeah.
Coming all the way to the shrine. And this is possible, and this can be possible or achieved easily, because they are keen into the digital tools that are made available, social media, for example, the media, for example. So thank you so much, sir. What role, because you organize events and all that. So like you mentioned, whenever you organize your events, you bring in some SMS. Oh God, this
MSMEs,
MSMEs, to patronize them and have them, do 1 or 2 things at the event. So I would like to ask, in what ways what roles do media personalities like creators, influencers play in promoting businesses? In what way? We're talking about reimagining the South is a digital future for us. So in what ways do you think these content creators have been able to help or would help businesses?
All right. So I'm going to say that there are a couple of ways that influencers, media partners. I don't like to call myself an influencer, and not because it is not what I am, but because these days that word influencer, it has been watered down
it's
a
not
lot.
Looking like Gen Z
Somebody
stuff.
that has little or no influence, just because followership does not equate influence.
True.
You can have 200,000 followers, and all the 200,000 people that are following you came because they are disagreeing with you. Do you understand?
Yes.
So most times, because somebody has a level of followership, they start to position themselves as influencers. So which is why I do not like to, use that term for myself. But the truth is that influencers can build trust and influence. Do you understand? People can tilt towards an MSME because they have seen an influencer who is trustworthy, vibe towards. For example, I know that by virtue of things I have been able to do in the past, let's say Burger Chicken.
King,
I make a video of, I know most times I don't even need to make a video. I buy stuff, they kind of do applications, and then trend creations, That's like the in thing right now. I'll give you an example. Pastor Emmanuel Iren is about to drop a song, and then he did an artwork using Gemini AI to putting oil on his head, and he just posted it. I don't think that was supposed to be a trend. I don't think they intended for it to be a trend. Yeah. But right now, once I open my Instagram, everybody carry oil for head. And this is the kind of thing you can get. Pastor Emmanuel may not be an influencer, but if you think about it, he is. Who is an influencer? Somebody that can convince people to do something because he's doing it. Pass like that. So simply because he did that, he started a trend even without intending to. And everybody is doing that thing right now, putting oil on their head, and everything is going back to the song that is about to drop in a few days. So explain advertisements we pass like that. That people are advertising for you simply because people who do not know you are advertising for you simply because an influencer did something like that. So these are some of the ways. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. I think in your let's celebrate him. I think it's been very exciting. I can just imagine. In your sharing, you mentioned a lot of things, maybe a lot of questions I wanted to ask, because I wanted to ask the kind of businesses that you've been able to promote in one way or the other through your platforms, and how are they doing? Like, just share with us businesses that you feel.
I don't promote plenty people. People that have even become quote unquote bigger than me. Yeah? But then I would always want to do that. So I'm gonna use okay, these are the people Carpenter Way. I'm going back. Okay, Optima Trade Plus. Optima Trade Plus is a tech startup that does gift card exchange. You can sell gift cards. Just download the app, put in your gift card. You do not need to start waiting for P2P vendors, or you wait for your vendor to come online. Just put your gift card, and in split seconds you can sell, and they have good rates. So those guys, when they launched in 2022 or 2023, because they are 2 years now, they reached out to me, and I am very particular when I'm picking brands that I want to work with.
Very important.
Yeah. First of all, the product or the service must align to my personal values. I don't have a problem saying no to money. A lot of times I have. It was like a training I gave myself, prior to where I am now. If the thing does not, align, I can, no matter how much. Maybe because they never offer me the money, we go change my head, we go twist my thinking. But so far, all the ones where they offer me, and if he talk no, if he does not align. So I worked with Optima, and being a brand ambassador for them for 6 months. First, after that 6 months, they renewed the contract. Because I believe if you do well now, so you renewed the contract for 1 year, another 1 year. So I worked for them for 1 year and 6 months, and I was able to, maybe I should pull that out, because currently I'm already working on my next show that is February 8th next year, 2026. That's the 10th anniversary of my comedy show.
Wow.
I've done that show for 9 years straight. You understand?
Amazing, yeah.
So I was sending out proposals to companies for sponsorship. And let me even digress a bit to what my boss said about sponsors. A lot of people do not understand that sponsorship comes in levels and stratas. So most people hear sponsorship and their head is in millions and the money that they will spend. You do not know that as a small business, the money where they your hand, where you don't map out, you can present that money to the brand that you want to work with, and they can offer you something. Boss, if I'm not mistaken, at any level.
Wow.
Just imagine, let me use for example. Sorry, my dear, what do you do? Baker. Now imagine your brand logo, just your logo on the red carpet of AY Life.
Whoa.
Now you can pay 50,000 for that, and somebody sees your brand logo on AY Life red carpet. If the person did doubt you before, that's the end of that doubt.
Oh, that's true.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to pull up now is the should I say feedback. Like I said, I was trying to get sponsorship with some other brands, and they were asking me this question: brands that you have worked with, what were you
The
able
level
to
of success,
achieve with them? So I no want start to the convince person. So I just reached out to those brands, 3 of them. I called them and I said, please write something for me to show what I've been able to do for you guys. And let me quickly read this thing for you people.
Okay.
So this one is called BMC Luxury Watch. Okay. Sponsorship, profitability, impact. They wrote many things, but here's what I want to read. Before sponsorship, units sold 29. Revenue 2,805,000. Profit 1,050,000. After sponsorship, units sold 104. Revenue 13,870,000. Profit 6,250,000. This is one brand. The second brand wrote. This second brand is a confectionaries brand. They wrote, before sponsorship, 220 units sold. Revenue 1.87 million. Profit 654K. After sponsorship, 709 units sold.
Wow.
11.75 million in revenue, 4.9 million in profit. Do I need to talk more?
No, you don't know, not at all. It's clear.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. You don't need to. Thank you so much. I think from what you said, I can pick out 2 major things. Number one, engage in sponsorship. It doesn't have to be too much, because number one, you're pushing your brand out there, you're gaining credibility, and then secondly, I think for upcoming influencers and digital creators, you need to be specific. I think it really aligned to me so much. You need to be specific on the kind of brands you would want to work with. I think we are gaining so much already. On this pre-conference, I can only imagine what will be happening on the Pivot Conference come 18th October 2025. Thank you so much for sharing, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes. I'm going to be moving on to a beautiful ma'am here, Mrs. Cheta Faustina, Anambra Business Vendor Convener. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
You're looking really pretty in your dress. Thank you for being here today. So I'm going to be asking you a few questions. Just share with us, how do business communities and digital tools actually drive MSME growth? How do business community and digital growth of businesses drive the MSME's growth?
Okay. Good day, everyone.
Good day, ma'am.
Thanks again for the opportunity. Okay. Initially, I said ABV Business Community. ABV means Anambra Business Vendors. Mm-hmm. So let me throw back a bit to COVID-19, because I didn't grow up in the East, but I'm from Anambra State. Grew up in the North, so we later relocated due to the Boko Haram issue. And after service, I started my millinery and bridal business without knowing much people down here. But thanks to God that we are very fluent in Igbo, notwithstanding growing in the North. So I started off the business, and I noticed that most of my clients, or yes, let me say most of them, especially the female, they tend to relocate down to the East because of marriage. So they keep asking me, where will I get this? Where will I buy this? So during that, I always refer. But during the Corona period, movement was restricted. So when they asked me those questions, because they could no longer visit those places physically, getting them online became a problem. And I saw that gap in the Southeast, especially Anambra State. So that was what moved me to start up that community.
Wow, amazing.
Trying to bring vendors together, along with a session a session I attended. Trisha Biz, I don't know if some of you know her. She's a marketing coach.
Yeah.
So she talked about how you can use your contacts to make money. Though she referred it in terms of event planning, but I didn't want to go into event planning because I'm already in the event space, but I didn't want to still become a proper event planner. In as much as some of my customers do ask me, should just do this event planning because you refer almost anything. But I didn't want to go into that. So instead of going into event planning that will still focus on just people majorly in the wedding space, I now had to do it like a general one. So I started off that business community, and I started it faceless in 2020, yes. So we were just running it. So then people come and ask, I want to get this, and we'll post. And people start tagging. Now, a number of times they don't get to tag the brand. They'll just be writing contact because these brands are not online, but they are in Oka, they're in Anambra, but they don't have that social media presence.
Yeah.
So gradually, a lot of people started understanding the essence, and I put up posts on why you should have that social media presence, especially that corona period that movement was now restricted. So gradually we grew. People were coming, they were just following us, and the page kept growing. So first of all, that community started giving credibility to vendors. Now when we post our request posts, people tag these vendors, they come back to give feedbacks of, I purchased from this person, because I also ask for feedback. I also ask which of the vendors did you patronize.
Yeah.
So when they post it, sometimes when they share the reviews, I also post, so that when next somebody else wants to buy, you can just say, use this person, they have used that before.
Yeah.
So first off, community gives you credibility, what you might not be able to do for yourself. When people vouch for you that, oh, this person, her product is nice, even then we even get some comment like, they are not online, but here's the contact, they are very nice.
Yeah.
So gradually, some of these brands that were not even online, they always say ABV referred me. And they will not be, who is ABV? Who is ABV? So gradually, people started understanding.
our cultures, but I would say cultural values, every other thing. In some parts of the country, there are certain services that are prevalent everywhere. It's easy to find people rendering those services in such locations. Then you are moving to another location where you still have those needs, yeah, but now it's difficult finding people rendering those same set of services you are used to enjoying from another place. So one simple example was as at 2019, as at 2019 when I came down back to Oka, now to work, yeah, we realized as lawyers there's this ego thing. You cannot just go and eat anywhere. You cannot just, some of those kind of things. So we realized we did not have any service. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I stand to be corrected, that as at 2019, there was no food brand operating within Oka that offered delivery services as an essential part of its operations. If I am not wrong, once again, I stand to be corrected. Thank you, Boogie. If I'm not wrong, once again, the first logistics company that was practicing their business in Oka was owned by a very good friend of mine, Errand Boy. It was set up, most likely set up, I don't know when, but it came into mainstream, maybe like that 2019, 2018 type, that time of this thing. So Burger Chicken and Co specifically was, I would say, a fusion of, I like good food, I like to make food. It's a hobby that I've always had. I was a lawyer who could not I was not mobile then. So it was difficult to drive down to some of the major places in town just because, say, you want to have lunch. You get into a car, or you take keke. No now. But you have to do steez, you have to maintain those things. So we realized you would now need to rely on the few people who were offering the service, and then it came with a lot of delays, a lot of irregularities, and the rest of it. So that gap was what we started out with fixing with Burger Chicken and Co. We specifically curated a category of meals on our menu that was tailored for professionals in their place of work. And we factored in deliveries as an essential. In fact, in 2020 when we started, delivery fee around Oka, we're charging 300 naira, 400 naira. Bugatti would bear me witness to this. As at 2020, before, the Buhari effect and the Tinubu effect came up. So the point is, there are instances where businesses are created as a result of the gap in the marketplace. And I wanted to point it out because that was literally how we started our operations as at that time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing. So I think we have to get back to ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Because I can really relate. When I came down to Oka in 2021 for NYSC, that's how I found myself here. I began to ask, okay, where can I buy burger? Where can I buy some kind of meals? I started searching. Then I saw, was it chicken? Just some kind of thing. So I actually want to encourage every business owner. I think that's really essential to just be online, because that's the first place I go to personally when I want to search for. I'm like chicken inoka, chicken, some kind of things like that, anything like that, burger inoka, something like that. So I encourage us to really, flood in on the social media spaces. Thank you very much. So how can you in what ways can you encourage, or can you say MSMEs, or how can you, oh my gosh, okay, how can MSMEs leverage community networks through digital tools and platforms and skilling for their skilling? How can they leverage on this community, for their skilling, the skilling of their businesses? And could you, share with us one time or one business that has scaled so much, from your community?
Okay, one, being part of the community, being active in the community. They have events you attend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think you have to share how can one join the community for those who would want to.
Okay, first of all, joining us is just by following our page. But it got to this point where there were issues between clients and vendors, and being that I need to step in because either they got the vendor from my community or the client came from my community. I've also had that time that I had to pay off just for peace to reign between the vendor and the client. So we started off what we call being a registered vendor. So you fill in our form. Currently is 10,000 naira one-time payment. So you fill in our form. We have a WhatsApp group where these registered vendors, we are in one particular community. Now, for you to be a registered vendor, what it means is that we are, as an I can stand in for you. There are people that send in requests and they'll say, give me your person. I don't even want you to post the request for me to start checking the comment section of who or who not was referred. So that's being a registered vendor gives you that advantage that I will just refer you in the DM. I don't need to post that request. But if I post it openly, that is for any follower can just comment, recommend, and whatnot. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is one. So leveraging two is being, like I said, being part of their events. For our community, we host our annual business entrepreneur summit during the middle of the year in June, third Saturday of June, mostly. That's when we host the community summit. Then towards the end of the year, we also host trade fair. This is 2025, so basically our community is 5 years old.
Wow.
Then the summit, we had the 3rd edition this year. Then for our trade fair, we'll be having the 4th edition by ending of November. Now we've had these vendors that were out posts, educational posts, because I noticed that yes, some of them are even online, but they are not visible. You ask them, oh, are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook?
There's
Are
something,
you visible
I'm sorry for
to?
interrupting, ma. This visibility is also important, and we really need to leverage on it. Please continue, ma.
Okay, so being visible entails doing a number of things. It goes beyond having a social media page. It goes beyond having the handle. Are you posting what relates to your potential client, not just those that know you? What about that person that don't know you?
Yeah.
The person wants to look for you. How will the person find you? For my bridal store, I started at home before I had a physical store, and I have a number of people from the social media that most of the times when they find me here in the East, they'll be like, oh, I thought you were in Lagos. I thought you were in Lagos.
Yeah.
But then it's because I'm visible, and that is one thing about knowing what your brand stands for.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's this conference I attended in Port Harcourt, and the woman, the speaker, it was still Trisha Bees. She broke down mission and vision of brands. Because I know when they say your vision brand, your mission brand, some people do not understand what it actually means. But one of my vision then after her explanation was to be the topmost visible bridal store in Oka, and not to be proud. I think we are doing it.
Amazing.
Yes,
Amazing.
I think we are doing it.
Let's celebrate that.
So while as a business owner, while you're in that social media, you're using any digital tool, be sure you're making proper use of the features and also the keywords that are also needed. When I learned about using Google My Business, I registered my bridal store and also map out customers. I don't skip it. When people come to, when people shop from us, we have this code of referral space. So even if you say social media, we will ask you which of the platform, because we want to know the platform that is working.
Yeah.
So when you're even pushing out your adverts, you know what you're doing, or check what you're doing there that is bringing those people. So at that time, we launched into using Google My Business very well. We started getting customers from Oko, from Nne. We'd be like, oh, we look for bridal store in Oka, and it seems like you're not the only one we saw, but you looked very recent. Your items, your pictures, So being visible goes beyond just having a social media page or a social media handle. The hashtags you use, the location, the keywords, and then your caption as well, to be able to speak to your potential clients.
Wow, so powerful, man. Thank you so much. I think she shared so much. The details are mind-blowing. You need to know these tiny details, the metrics, the data that you're generating, and it's so important. And indeed, and we are all saying how important it is for us to leverage on the digital tools that are being made available to us in this time. I run a bookstore, and I know how many people have reached out to me because I placed my business on Google. And whenever they type bookstore in Oka, I show up first. I always show up first. And I'm calling, I saw your number on Google. I saw your number on Google. So many customers like that here in Oka. So indeed, we need to leverage every digital tool that is being made available to us in order to grow our businesses. Thank you so much for sharing, Ma. It's been so insightful. Let's celebrate her once more. Yes, we are going to. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're done. We're done. So the next person is Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwuobaji, Onitsha Business Hangouts Convener. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir. So I'm going to be asking you a few questions. How do business communities and digital tools actually drive MSME growth? Because I think we are convener. So how do business communities and digital tools actually drive MSC, like in your own opinion? And
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Before I would answer, I would like to say something that inspired me at one point in my life, and that was growing up. I love football.
Okay.
So one particular time I was watching Ronaldinho being interviewed, and something caught my attention. And that thing was that he couldn't speak good English, so they have to get an interpreter. He was comfortable speaking his language. So ever since then, I've told myself that wherever I find myself,
Yeah.
so I don't know if anybody here is not hearing Igbo, but that's a brand I want to build for myself, that wherever I find myself, I'm going to speak my language, I'm going to blend it. It's either the spirit interprets for you or you get someone to interpret for you.
Proudly Igbo.
So having said that, a lot of things can bundi Igbo na-eme without even knowing how we got there, and they are good. And that thing is community. Looking back settings in the Igbo siwede, if we build cluster communities from extended families, we move to Umunna. From Umunna, we move to village. From village, we move to town.
Yes.
If you study it closely, if una development in Ebido from that place, will move. But one thing anyị na-emenwuro as ndị Igbo is not being able to replicate such community in our different businesses. And it becomes a very big problem to us. Taking Onitsha for an instance, you get to discover that business decisions are being taken not as a business community, but as in the club and Oyi. And because of that, Oda Anota Aka, it dies off. So now bringing this to the 21st century businesses, sorry to say this now, business cannot thrive unless we build a business community. Bringing it to Onitsha Business Hangout, we started 2002. July 2022, sorry.
Okay.
From there, I moved on to 2023 to 2024. We noticed a gap, and the gap is that now we cannot track or monitor the impact of the teachings. How do we monitor it when people be hanocha fanaba? But mind you that the business itself started from what? Social media.
Yeah.
It started from Twitter, because originally it was Onitsha Twitter Business Hangout. That was how it started.
Lovely.
So we started bringing in persons. Funny enough, apart from nature and apart from nature, the rest, and her, Amaroma, this is my first time of seeing her. Apart from nature, the rest are consumers. When I mean consumers, they are from Onitsha. Uche did the first MC. Bugatti started, and the rest of it. So we started growing. So how do we monitor this particular thing? And that was what gave birth to the business community. Now, Anya form go what we call the Onitsha Business Hangout community. So we can be able to bring those teachings to an business ecosystem so that progress can be monitored, just like Umunna. Take your mind back after the war. You go to your community, you pick someone. And if you notice some Ubudo and villages and towns, they are being known for a particular business. Look at our Agolo supermarket. Look at our Kititi bicycle parts. Look at our law, Rapa. Look at Usina, Akokwa, and the rest of it, Opuruku. I don't know if you get that. Yeah. So that is the essence, and that is what we are trying to reinvent again. in the 21st century by building a community that is going to determine how business is being run in the next couple of years, so that it doesn't end with just Anyeno, it may exist. Abena People's Club, Buyers here club or Naba. It doesn't go deep down. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of community. And again, we cannot also overemphasize the importance of social media and the impact to embrace the digital space.
Wow.
And not you can't take it away from them, because we have a rigid and a fixed mindset. And the whole thing is that we, the generations that are coming up, are taking the key from our fathers and trying to be worse than them. That is what is going on in our church. So the importance of community in building a particular community again, because all from that business community can build the Onitsha community, can build the Southeast community, can build the Alibo community, but it has to start somewhere. And then this is an age and time whereby you can be in the comfort of your home. Let me tell you what happened. Okay, Jim, Madume we bill onions. I went to pick onions in a park in Makodi. I started engaging the driver. Driver was him, because the onions were supposed to come from Abuja. Suddenly it came from Benue. I was now asking the driver, Kezi Kosi is brew from Benue. Driver said no. Driver now said no wanye no kita bo wadiegu. Now somebody gone on a Benue order onions from Abuja. Is he from Benue buluzo? Bujia Abuja. Sikwa from Abuja. Buchi yatakwale na Benue. Ko we no onions Abuja. And it's a digital space, because the person selling to you who is a farmer may not actually own a farm.
Yeah.
Just like
That's
Uber
true. That's
being the
very true.
biggest transport taxi company without having a taxi.
Yeah, single Uber.
Just like Airbnb, that is the biggest accommodation company without even owning a single apartment. So that is how the world is moving to the digital space. And that is what these little communities, cluster communities around should be in par with our peers out there. Because our competitors are not in Dinoka or Brondino Lagos. It's outside the world out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think you rounded off every question I felt like I wanted to ask, both from measuring the success, both from how digital tools are helping, businesses in your community. I think you really did a lot of justice to all those questions. But I want to ask one more question. What's the biggest mistake people make when trying to network for businesses? What's the biggest mistake you feel, the challenges that they may have?
I learned it while having a conversation with a friend. Last year we wanted Obi Jackson to be part of our panelist. So we got an invitation from Obi Jackson. So I now acquired that money with my friend na Amuwo. The friend now looked at me, see me fine, biambia. He said, Ododa kanante sim ilukwe ba akokwana oko too much. Asekwana ase. Unwero ko de model ase e ga asili Obi Jackson mmada asibere before. So you about just 2-3 minutes end your conversation. So he asks you questions. This is the problem many of us have while trying to network. And every average person is now also from expenses.
I think you want to say something, Mr.
Every average person now also from expenses. When you network, what you want to see is to learn from them. And one thing that works for me, and that thing that works for me every time is whenever I approach somebody for networking, abumiti, nukuiti, mpataka, I will just meet you. Ne. How do we do this? How are you doing this? Yeah. On my own, I know nothing. Even if I know everything about it, I will always approach you from the standpoint to know that first of all gives the person confidence. And they man,
they want to sound Lagosian or Abuja-ish or whatever. But that doesn't really help anybody, or Abuja-ish or whatever. But that doesn't really help anybody, including yourself, that is also living in that community. Yeah. Including yourself, that is also living in that community.
Yeah.
So there is social community in Anambra State, where we talk about social activities like events, any type of event like he is currently, organizing. If that type of event comes to my doorstep, for example, I have a lot of people that I'm going to inform. Social activity is something that is very viable right now in the East, thanks to what we have been able to build over the years.
Yeah.
Political activity as well. So we also have active participants in politics. You have obedience, you have people who believe in APGA and other political parties. So with the intentional community building that has been happening, it's not something that happened overnight. A lot of complaints, there are a lot of things we don't have. Even till tomorrow, we continue to lack. But what matters when you discover these gaps is to become very intentional in filling it. You look at what is happening elsewhere. You ask yourself, how do I replicate what is happening elsewhere here? Right? There's a reason why you find yourself in that environment. It is to be part of the building, right? Then there is also tech space. I've been very instrumental in building the tech space in Anambra State. What I figured out was, at the time I was very popular on social media. I was, getting a lot of gigs. People would ask me, do I know anybody that can do this and do that? And I would be looking for a lot of them, and you wouldn't find. And this is not because we don't have this talent, just like my sister was talking about. We had these issues in every sector. There is no sector you go to in Anambra State. If you are coming into Anambra State as a novice, you will be lost, if you want to do anything, because the quality of personnel, the people, the way of people's life is being, packaged in a way that is desirable. And as somebody from that particular culture, whatever thing you are putting